Hello, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Steve coming to you today from my office. Today we're going to be looking at Fido Day 22, Wednesday, April 22nd. Our objective today is, this is a little bit of a different kind of lesson than what I've been doing last week and even yesterday and Monday. This one we're going to be looking at, will a product be larger or smaller than the first factor in our multiplication sentence? You will need your multiplication chart. You will need to watch this video. I'm going to do 3 pages, 751, 752, 753. So if you need to get those items, go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so we're going to look at 751, 752, and 753 first. And I'm right here on page 751 with you, okay? And down here, we're going to look at this bottom where it says draw it. And it says in step 1 that we're going to multiply the number 2. And we're going to do it 3 times. We're going to do it by a mixed number that is 1 1/5. So it's greater than 1, 1 1/5, 1 1/2, and 1 3/4. Okay, we're going to multiply it by that. And we've already learned how to do that. So over here, I'm going to make 2 over 1 times, and I'm going to change 1 1/5 to 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6/5. And I'm going to lower this camera down while you guys are doing that. So give me one moment, okay? Don't mind the Ritz box. It works really well as a stabilizer for me on my tablet. Just give me one more moment. There we go. Okay, now we're nice and close. Oh, I like that a lot better. So we're doing 2 over 1 times 6 over 5. So 2 times 6 on top is 12. 1 times 5 on the bottom is 5. And 12 over 5, that's improper, so we're going to put the 12 in and the 5 out. 5 goes into 12 2 times. 2 left over, so the leftover goes on top and the 5 goes on the bottom. So 2 2/5. Now, this is where the lesson kind of comes into play. We have factor A. Remember, factor are the 2 numbers in the multiplication problem, times B, factor B. Do you see that? And what we're going to be doing is we're going to compare our answer here, 2 2/5, to factor A, which is 2. 2 2/5 is more than 2. Do you see that? 2 2/5 is greater than 2. So in this first example, the first factor, factor A, is not as large as when we multiplied. Let's see if the same thing happens over here. Another number, here's factor A times factor B. B is greater than 1. It's 1 1/2 is more than 1. So let's go ahead and do 2 over 1 times, and 1 1/2 we can rewrite as 3 over 2. 2 times 3 on top is 6. 1 times 2 on the bottom is 2. Let's set up our division house. 6 goes in, 2 stays out. We get 3. This equals 3. For the second time, boys and girls, the product, the answer we get, is larger than that first factor of A. And on this last one, let's do this last one. 2 over 1 times 1 3/4 is 7/4 equals 28, nope, sorry, equals 14/4. Let's set up our division house. 14 goes in, 4 stays out. 4 goes into 14 3 times, 2 left over out of 4, which is the same as 1/2. 3 1/2. Now let's go back. 2 was our first factor. 1 3/4 was our second factor. 3 1/2 is our product. Our answer is greater than our first factor. They want us to put these 3 answers on the number line. So we're going to do our best to do that. You guys know my favorite thing is not number lines. But here's factor A. Do you see that? They already plotted A. Factor A is 2. And each one of our products we know was greater than 2. 2 2/5 is probably right about here. 2 2/5. 3 is right here. 3 1/2 is right here. So what this is showing is that all 3 products were greater than factor A. Were greater than that first number in the multiplication problem. So down here on step 3, circle whether the products are greater than, less than, or equal to 2. Well, they were all greater than 2. And here's the conclusion we need to come to right here. This is super duper important. If you have a highlighter or a colored pencil, this is what's really, really important. I'm going to grab, I have a highlighter right here. This is what's really, really important from doing this example right here. Multiply a number by a fraction greater than 1. So do you remember how factor B was larger than 1 in all 3 examples? So when you take a factor like 2 and you multiply it times a fraction greater than 1, the product is greater than the number. Remember, all 3 products were greater than that first number of 2 in this example. That's true all the time, boys and girls. So if your second number is greater than 1, then your product is going to be greater than the first number that you multiplied by. So let's look at a few examples that are like this, okay? And we're going to bounce around a little bit on page 753. We're going to bounce around a little bit, okay? We are going to look at number 4, number 5, number 7, number 8. Okay, and let me move this up a little bit. 4. 10 times 1 3/5. Well, 1 3/5 is greater than 1. So we automatically know that this product is going to be greater than 10. When we actually multiplied it out, and I'm doing that right now, if you're looking, I get 80/5. And when I set up my division, that's 16. Do you see how the actual answer is greater than that first number? And you might wonder again, why? Because the second number in the problem was greater than 1. Let's look at another example just like that. See how the first number, 1 3/4, times a number greater than 1, we automatically know that the answer is going to be larger than 1 3/4. Let me go ahead and do this one for you and show you 7/4 times 4/1 is 28/4. How many 4s go into 28? 7. So this equals 7. See how the answer then is greater than the first number. It's a lot greater. Number 7 is like that as well. Second number is greater than 1.